Hey guys, welcome to the Emlyn in the Mix podcast, season 2, episode 9. It is the 13th of March 2021, and we have got an exciting news one this week, and we're also going to be featuring something very interesting from the team at Google, who have recently put together like an advanced sort of synthesizer and drum machine collection which you can put together, and it's all in AR, and we're going to have a little play with that. And in fact, we're going to try and make some music with it. And I say try because I haven't actually used it before. I used it briefly before we started this podcast, so it's going to be very interesting indeed, but we will definitely check that out. But welcome to all of those of you who are joining me there. We are running live on the YouTube today, and obviously welcome to those listening on the podcast as well. Let's get stuck straight into what the big news of this week was, and you can see, if you're watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to see straight away on the screen. This was one that really took my interest, and this is an article that comes from Music Tech, and it's Isla Instruments S2400 drum machine. If you're looking here on the video, you'll see it has a super classic aesthetic. It looks really old school, but it's also got some little modern features in there as well. It looks super nice. So I'm just going to go over this little review here right up from Music Tech, and just show you what this thing entails basically. So it's an authentic take on the classic EMU SP sound. So those of you who are familiar with that sound, used in a lot of old school hip hop music, absolutely classic sounding drum machine. Some of its new features are being brought from the vintage sampler and brought up to date. Has 12-bit and hi-fi sample modes, which offer the best of both worlds. Has excellent build quality, and live looping options adds value for live performances. So it is aimed obviously at studio and live performance. Just get another glimpse of it there. It's really sexy, if you can see that. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure to come over to Emlyn in the Mix on YouTube, and hashtag subscribe. No, sorry, that's just my little catchphrase. But definitely check out the video there if you want to have a glimpse of what this is, or you can just Google it, Isla Instruments 2400. So I'm just going to read a little bit of the article here. So in recent years, we've seen a glut of analog synth reissues. So just more or less, we've had heaps of reissues, vintage drum machine clones, and detailed replicas of classic effects. And conspicuous by their absence are reproductions of vintage samplers. It's hard to explain why that should be the case, given that there's still plenty of interest in vintage samplers, like brands like Akai, EMU, and Sonic. So that is true. Like especially Akai, they're still killing it in the realm of drum machines, and they've done tons of modern updates to their drum machines, but also there's been reissues of classics as well. So now we have the Isla Instruments S2400, and it is undoubtedly the most ambitious reimaging of a vintage sampler. And company founder Brad Holland has a history of experimenting with digital gear in various forms, from heavily modified Alesis HR16 drum machines to his recent chord bot MIDI controller. And the S2400 isn't just a feature remake of the EMU SP1200, but that's the starting point. Isla sees as its spiritual successor to the SP, combining the classic sound with modern features. So I'm not going to go fully into this article here, but you can see there's a really nice write-up. Check out the Music Tech. There it is there if you're looking on the video as well. It looks so nice. There it is in like a hard case. And just looks like a really sturdy, really nice, has that really excellent sort of vintage and classic sort of analog drum machine vibe, and I think you should definitely check it out, guys. That is definitely on my list of checking out. And there's been a plethora, as it said at the start of this article, there really has been a plethora of drum machines, and I know a lot of people are sort of looking to go doorless, or doorless in the realm of just playing with drum machines and synthesizers. Seems to be all the rage these days, and I'm enjoying it as well. I got the Maschine Plus, which is behind me here, and that's also another opportunity for me to go doorless. Definitely with the Maschine Plus is very excellent for doing that. We're just about to talk about that's actually our next subject here. But in the meantime, check out Isla Instruments S2400 aesthetically looks amazing, and from the right up here, it sounds like it's gonna capture that vintage S1200 EMU sound with modern features. So that's Isla Instruments S2400. Moving along to our next big news is Maschine Plus. This is very exciting for you Maschine Plus users. Has actually been updated. I'll just see, I do have a JPEG here of, let's have a look here. Just bring that onto the screen. So what has actually been updated here? So Maschine Plus update is now available. This is the 1.12.15 update. Now, that doesn't sound very exciting, but actually when you hear what's actually been updated, this is really exciting for those of you who are Maschine Plus users or they want to get a Maschine Plus. This has really made this a much more desirable device to get your hands on. So you can now connect external USB drives to load or transfer content. And we've also added full integration for the current generation of complete control keyboards. And meaning, this is the exciting thing, meaning you can make full use of the encoders on the A series and M32. And also the S49, he uses it in the video. The S49, I think the Mark II and the Mark III. Alongside, you've got those, and then you've got the extra screens as well, which is really cool. So if you're using the S series MK2, you can use that as well, like I just said. And for those who asked, we've also introduced basic support for Maschine Jam. Whoa, this was like boom when I saw this. Sorry, I'm being stupid. But I was super excited when I saw that they put support for Maschine Jam, because it seems like if you followed Native Instruments, it looks like Maschine Jam is essentially, it's out of the picture now, but the fact that they're still supporting the Maschine Jam, it's really amazing. Like if you look on eBay or you even go to reverb.com, which is perfect for buying like secondhand music equipment, it's really hard to find a Maschine Jam these days, and they're actually appreciating in value. Like they're getting harder and rarer to find, and now this is just having the support for Maschine Jam with Maschine Plus has really made the Maschine Jam a much more desirable piece of kit. There's also now the option to save with samples, and of course additional refinements, performance improvements, and bug fixes. So you can actually connect an external hard drive now to the Maschine Plus, which also is a very exciting feature, because this allows you to essentially load all your own samples. You could have like a 1 terabyte or a 2 terabyte external hard drive. They're getting bigger and bigger these days. And you could just have all of your samples on there and just essentially have it connected to Maschine Plus, and really just that fully utilizing the Maschine Plus as a doorless device. Like it, more or less, that's what it is. Like it's a doorless, you can have a full doorless setup, and all surrounded by the Native Instruments environment, using their controllers and Maschine Plus. It's a really, really exciting update, guys. And if you're not as excited as me, then you're probably not a Maschine user, and I totally understand for those people who are not, fully tracking or, fully into Native Instruments. I do get that. And essentially, in recent days and months, Native Instruments hasn't really been the most active audio technology company, but I really do like to see that they're still supporting their core users, and they haven't just dropped the ball, even though they've even been taken over by, and we spoke about this in a previous podcast, they've been recently taken over by an investment firm, and it was a bit scary when that happened, but it looks like there's still a core team at Native Instruments who do want to keep Native Instruments alive, which is a fantastic thing. But this update looks amazing. I'm just going to play a little bit of a video back here, and we're going to start listening.
The Maschine Plus 1.215 update is all about connectivity in your studio. Our developers have leveled up the game for Maschine Plus quite a bit and added some new mind-blowing features, with some of those being highly requested by you.
I'm just going to mute that out there. We have actually gone over all of the features, but there you can see, if you're watching on the podcast video here, you can see that he had the S49 MK2. I think it was the S49, but it was definitely the Mark II. And he has a Maschine Jam, and he's totally jamming along with Maschine Plus. This is a very exciting prospect. So well done to Native Instruments for getting this update out there. Definitely exciting indeed. All right, let's move on to our next and our feature for today's podcast. And this is really interesting. I wouldn't have even have thought that I would do a feature on this, but I am, and here I am, we're doing it, and I can't believe I'm doing this. We're going to let some AI control and make some music. And this is Google's Music Makers and Maschine exhibition is letting you play vintage synths with AI. So you can do this right now. And it's pretty exciting, and we're going to have a little play with it on the podcast today. So what am I even talking about? What is this? So I'm going to go over that right now. Over 50 museums, festivals, educational establishments, archives, and labels have collaborated with Google Arts and Culture on music, makers, and machines. And the online virtual exhibition showcases the history and legacy of electronic music with experiences involving iconic synthesizers, studios, and music venues. Google's free platform presents a collection of 200 online exhibitions, 360-degree tours, 3D scans, augmented reality features, over 13,000 archived photos and videos, and editorial features. And it focuses on electronic music scenes, iconic sounds, and famous cities. So this right up here, I'm actually just reading again. We're on the Music Tech website here. Very good website too if you want to get new sort of exciting news coming out in the world of audio technology. And if you're looking here on the video, you can see a Roland Tower 808 3D image. And it's a navigatable 3D model which you can check out in this Google exhibition. So designed as an educational resource, Music Makers and Machines also features lessons, plans for schools and students for classroom and online learning in a time where venues are closed and access to studios is limited. So Google's exhibition is a novel way to experience the most important aspects of electronic music. All right, so now we're just going to get stuck into this Google exhibition, and I'm going to just show you, if you're watching on the video too, you're going to be able to see. It's pretty cool. I'm going to jump straight over to it here. So you'll see I've already got a Moog. I think it's a memory Moog here. I wonder if I can make that bigger. I can move it around, I think. Oh, wow, I can move around. So, okay, so for those of you listening on the podcast, essentially I'm in like this 3D space where I can sort of drag and drop. I've got a few instruments here. I've got a drum machine, I've got a synthesizer. It looks like maybe I got a sequencer. This is a computer. Anyway, as I said, I haven't played with this much. Let's we're gonna pop some stuff out in the room, okay? So it starts playing straight away, and that's actually a Fairlight SMI. That's pretty cool. So we've got a Fairlight here. It all syncs up. I've got my memory Moog here as well. Let's pop a little drum machine. So you just click on it, and then we drag it. It'll play straight away. I can randomize the beat here. Let me get all my instruments out, and then we'll make a little track here. So what do we got here? Oh, Arp Odyssey, nice. Let's pop an Arp Odyssey up here. Oh yeah, we get some fat bass. I think that's everything. What's this one? Let's have a look. Roland CR78 drum machine. Okay, it's another drum machine. Let's pop that there. Interesting. All right, well look, it's going to be a pretty simple sort of beat, but that's okay. I'm just going to come back here, change my camera because it does look a bit dark. All right, hopefully there I'm a bit lighter. Okay, cool. Let's have a little play. We'll kick us off with a bit of a drum beat here. We'll just randomize it. Oh my gosh. Alright, sounds like we're going to be making some 80s vibes here. Ooh. Alright, here we go. I mean, guys, this is a simple device, right? Now, obviously, it's not like the AI on your computer. It's not putting it in key. You have to figure it out yourself. But look, it is pretty cool, actually. Like, I like the fact I can actually look around. I got this huge room, essentially, where I can put my instruments. I can delete them, and the sounds are really cool. Like, let's have a quick listen to. I'm actually just gonna avoid making a track because it just sounds terrible. Obviously, it's a loop, but I think a nice sort of nod to nostalgic synthesis and analog gear. Like, very well done to the team that put this together, and the fact that anybody can do this, I mean, that is a lot of fun. So we'll have a listen to the instruments individually, because it's tricky for me. I've literally just got this sort of 16-step sequencer, and then I have to guess what key we're in and that sort of stuff. So, and it doesn't have the keys there. So I'm going to avoid making a song, actually, just to avoid my own embarrassment on this. I'm not embarrassed by it. But let's have a listen to each instrument individually, just so you get an idea of the tone. So this is which one was this? The Roland. It's really hard to read the writing here. That's the Moog memory Moog, but this is the Roland CR74. And we can randomize the beat, randomize my sequence. I mean, you could make something out of that. Totally free on the web, guys. This is really cool. Oh, I can turn it up and down too. That's nice. Oh, I can slow it, speed it up. Okay, it does have some onboard features. Wonder if this one has any features. Alright, so this looks like it has... We're going to go over to our memory Moog now. We'll randomize a little sequence. What's that? Is that my voice? Not sure what that's doing. Oh, wow, it's like a vibrato. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's adding an effect on it. That's freaking cool. Yeah, so I'm able to mess around with, it looks like this is controlling a vibrato or something. Alright, let's jump over to our Arp Odyssey. I made this little beat. Let's see if we got any controls in here. Do we have? Yes, we do. What have we got? Woo! Make some squelchy, controlling the filter and distortion. Oh, it's really clever, guys. This is really cool. Alright, let's go over to our Fairlight SMI. Let's make a different sequence here. And then let's see what we can actually control on here. What can I... Here we go. Something here, no? I don't know if this has a control on it. Look, it is very basic, I'm not going to lie, but for what it is, it's very cool. Alright, we'll check out... lastly, we're going to check out... Which one was this? This was the... Excuse me, I just can't read the font. It's quite small. Akai 2900. Alright, here we go. Let's play this back. Already got one. Hang on. Get out of that. Oh, I deleted it. Hang on. We're going to put it back. Oh, quick listen to that. Nice. Get that real 80s vibe. And we have some control. Oh, okay. We got presets. Nice. What other presets we have? Oh, we got like a bass preset. That's cool. Oh, it's actually more sounds than I realized on here. Anyway, guys, you get the idea. That is really cool, actually. It's meticulously sampled from those virtual instruments. Well done to the team at Google. Really, really awesome stuff. And yeah, check it out. It's the Music Makers and Machines on Google augmented reality experience. And that's pretty much going to do it for the podcast today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it inspired you to have a bit of fun with that, and also to update you on what's happening in the world of audio technology and music technology. We are going to have a really exciting, well, actually, every podcast is exciting, but we're going to have in the next couple of weeks, there's some really cool sort of new hardware we're going to have in the studio here, which we're going to feature. Can't talk about it right now as it's embargoed, but we definitely will be featuring that, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the podcast and subscribe on YouTube if you're watching it on there. And thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I hope you are loving the podcast and the YouTube. And until next time, make sure, I always forget, I got to do this at the end, but make sure to please leave a review on the podcast if you're listening there. You can do it on the iTunes. I really love that. Until next time, guys, thanks so much for joining me. Peace out. Boom.